and have 2 counter picks added, which will be Scrapyard and Via Dulce. The winner will ban 2 of those 7 stages. And we're going to start off with a Twin Tail Ditto. A Twin Tail Ditto right from the get-go. And it will be a Lawyer on the left of your screen and Raziel on the right. An interesting loadout that they're both coming in with. On the left-hand side of the screen, we've got the Hydra and the Whammer for a Lawyer. Raziel, meanwhile, coming in with the Ram and the Toaster. So, an all-fiery loadout. In fact, the only arm in this match, not a firearm, is the Whammer. Has a little bit more of a kickback to it, and Raziel are so consistent at the moment with the Ram. Just catching Twiltail consistently off guard. Thankfully, the Lawyer does get the shield up, so chip damage and nothing more. But Raziel, on sheer Rams alone, has already got a Lawyer onto the cusp of critical, and they sensed a moment to try and end that right there and then. Arm weak on the left-hand side for Lawyer. Does finally find purchase with the Hydra, the 3 vertical bolts. Always nice to shut down a character who does like to hop into the air every now and then, especially a character like Twintail, where they'll want to use their Actress Aura, slow down things, and get themselves into a more ideal position. Just like that for a Lawyer. Gets the grab as well. Slowly but surely, they're coming back into this match and will rush out. The Hammer just about catches with the rush. Gets 150, certainly better than nothing. And also gets a hit with the Whammer, and just like that, with 20 seconds left on the clock, a Lawyer has brought this right back into contention. Unfortunately, committed just a little too much there, knowing Raziel had the rush, and as time ticked down, they went for the rush, and that will be the initial point for Raziel, but we'll see if they can continue that way. They were definitely starting to lose their purchase in that match. Like, they had a significant health lead, but a Lawyer brought it back. The Whammer and the Hydra proven to be a decent match, but it's going to be the Shack Ram that comes up instead of the Hydra. Clearly seeing how better Raziel was able to utilize their Ram, so a Lawyer going to see if they can not just negate that, but see if they can make it hit a little bit more consistently. Obviously, the difference between the two, the firepower, which if it does hit will just immediately floor a Lawyer, versus the stun, which will give a Lawyer a chance to capitalize, do a little bit more damage, especially with grabs, especially if they're up close at Burstle. Arm weak, and that is gonna, well, can still stay weak. It did not force the break. Oh, now it does though on the right hand side. Raziel just about gets away with it. Takes a clip from the Ram, but look at how much more consistent a Lawyer is with the Ram, and gets a free hit there. Could have gone for the punish, but didn't quite have it on them. And yep, again, double commit from Raziel. Ram just curves around the pair of them, hits before they can, and that is always nice to see. So, Lawyer bringing it back, gonna stick with the Ram. It's Raziel's turn now to equip the Hydra, so we'll see. So they've ditched the Ram of their own, and now they're going to equip the Hydra, which is what a Lawyer used in the first point. Lands with their fiery punch, immediately takes a Lawyer down, and the rush will come out as well. Got the initial hit, but a Lawyer gets the shield up for the rest of it, so no further damage. And let's see if a Lawyer can find a way of coming back through onto this, and there comes the rush now, but Raziel again sidesteps the initial blast and just shields the rest of it. Does get caught by the Hammer again. And do remember that a Lawyer is going in with double stun, so as long as one can hit, the other will come in for a 1-2 combo, or if a Lawyer is close enough and hasn't fired off the other arms, will definitely get a grab of that, there is no doubt. But again, a commitment with that Ram right in front of Raziel, who gets the rush confirmed as well. But again, another big old Hammer just coming straight on through, and a Lawyer is keeping this health at a relative level pace here. 40 seconds left on the clock. The Hydra is going to whiz past on the right hand side, and again the Ram just catching Raziel off guard, and here comes the rush, and this will connect. Will this be a KO? It will be, because the Hammer deals so much damage on its own, and a Lawyer coming back from behind to take the first point in this set. A great start from both of these players. A very intense fight, of that there is no doubt. Raziel took the lead early on. A Lawyer switched things up, realizing the Hydra wasn't working for them, and that switch proved, well, it was a very dominant performance in the second point, where a Lawyer just breezed on through. And then the second Raziel switched to the Hydra, it was a lot more close than I thought it would be. But Aloya, again, just that little bit more consistent with the Rams and actually scoring a lot more hammer hits than I thought they would do. And yeah, not bad in the slightest for Aloya. And they will lead this match. Remember that the earlier matches are best of 3, so it'll be the first to win 2 of these matches. We'll be going through. We are going to see a bit of a lobby reset, it seems. Looks like there is a connection dispute. So we're just going to allow our 2 players to just quickly reset the lobby, and we will rejoin them in just a minute. As you can see, we've got the other bracket currently underway. Grimwood is taking on Dazzler, and Replicant will be taking on Yoshi. I guess to nobody's surprise, the one person who gets a bye, because it is a 7-player tournament, is indeed the reigning champion Riffa. And ironically enough, it will be either Aloya or Raziel who will take on Riffa in the next match, which is essentially going to be winners semi-finals. I'm going to assume it's the same code. I want to keep on Mechanica if you do not mind. There we go. And they are going to be back in, so it looks like hopefully the connection issues will be somewhat sorted now. I do believe the match results will stay the same, so it will still be 1-0. Raziel will be on the left-hand side of your screen now, and Aloya will be on the right-hand side of your screen. And also, interestingly enough, that both are going to switch characters here. Aloya coming in with the Min-Min, Raziel coming in with the Coil, so 2 very different playstyles here. And Raziel again gonna go for the all fire later. In fact, everybody has a firearm in this match. 2 roasters for Raziel, not Raziel, for Aloya, and a toaster and Hydra for Raziel. And obviously with Coil's wonderful ability, they get a 3rd arm on either side. It is random, so it'll either be 6 horizontal fiery bolts, or it'll be 2 punchy fiery gloves. And so far Aloya trading in the guidance system. There is no guidance system, it's all for the roasters, but it deals that much more damage. And they're going to land a couple of clean hits on there, but crucially for Raziel, they have the fire elements on both arms, but unfortunately not going to win out on the roaster at all. Aloya gets the trade with that 300 damage. Nicely done, immediately ducks behind the pillar. Scrappy on a very vertical and chaotic stage, it must be said. Has bits of everything, has small height changes, big height changes. Obviously the middle platform, Coil will just look at how long Coil stays up in the air. Again, another part of their quirks just hovers on up there. And also those 2 pillars, one has gone down, the other one is still there, so it gives Aloya a chance to back up if they want to. But just look at how much pressure they're putting Raziel in, breaking the arm on the left hand side and then following through with another punch. And obviously that roaster on the dragon arm, it's just that much power. If you don't knock Aloya down, then Min-Min is just going to keep on putting the pressure up. And Raziel knows they're going to have to try and outbox this, so they're going to go with what is essentially triple nade. So the other glove in this game. So both coming in with an unguided arm, and the nades are going to do big damage. 300 to Aloya. Min-Min tries to jump back into it, but the nades are already out. They already get the explosion, and the shield will be up. Raziel knew that rush was coming. At least scores 100 towards the end of it, and also gets themselves a free chance to get the arm back up to power. The dragon arm is so useful for Min-Min. The second she has it, it's up there until you get knocked down, which is why Raziel is hoping that these nades can at least put the pressure in. But again, the arm weak on the right hand side, and Aloya is not afraid to throw out these punches at close range, knowing full well as long as one can hit, the other will just come swinging straight back on in. Both with rush available, a self-destruct from the nade, but the rush is going to come out from Raziel instead and pops the Aloya down to critical. Crucially then, if Aloya can time this right, they could get the KO with the rush, but they also know they can't afford to lose this, especially with another punch now, and the nade is going to be the thing that seals it. Just catches with the explosion, the AoE catching up to Min-Min, and that is going to be 1 apiece again. But crucially, Aloya does have rush ready to go. We're going to see the Chakram coming out now. And obviously that's up as a dragon arm. It's a much bigger hitbox, so this might keep Coil under wraps a little bit more, as you can see immediately coming into effect. And pinned up into this corner. Unfortunately, Aloya could do nothing about it. Got the rush up, but Raziel already having the shield, and now it's their turn. But again, Aloya waits in, just waiting and waiting. Arm gets destroyed on the left hand side. The nades will catch up to them again. Just the relentless pressure from a character like Coil, where they just float around and just consistently fling out 3 nades if possible. But the Ram finally gets in a really good follow-up grab. I thought Raziel was just drifting out, but not this time round. Aloya does catch up to them. And again, another Ram. Unfortunately, the Roaster just off accuracy a little bit there, but crucially, Aloya does help the health lead, and the Ram is working well. Just about gets away with that. Gets the shield up, cancels out the rest of the rush, and now has one of their own. Gets another stun. Could be a chance to go for the kill, and there it is! 2 stuns in the space of 2 seconds, and I think at that point Aloya knew the game was theirs. And that, my friends, is a 2-0 set. Aloya taking out Raziel and books their ticket into winners semi-final, where they will have to go up against reigning champion Riffa. A great showing there from the two of them. Must admit, a very close match, and it's always nice to see the Coil being put under a lot of pressure. And on this occasion, Aloya has the right keys, has that little bit of patience, and also knows when to play the aggressive part as well. So, beautiful showing there. And it does mean that they will book their ticket into the semi-final. Meanwhile, Grimwood takes out Daza by 2-0, and Replicant takes out Yoshi by 2-0. So the underground bracket will be starting as well. If you would like to follow what's going on there, feel free to use exclamation bracket. You can keep an eye on things there, because the underground will be starting now with underground round 1, Daza versus Yoshi, to decide who will make it through into underground round 2. Raziel will await the loser of match 6, which is the second semi-final, which is Grimwood versus Replicant, and the loser of 5, which will be between Riffa and Aloya, will take on the winner of Daza versus Yoshi. That is the current standings, and it is going to be Riffa versus Aloya on stream first. And there we go. So, Aloya has the dubious task of going up against the Revolution himself. It is Riffa, currently sitting on 16 cup wins, holding that cup for 4 events in a row. They're looking to break the all-time record and have that run last for 5 events in a row, but can anybody stop them? Riffa on the left hand side of your screen coming in as Misango. Looks like it's Chilla and Siki for the call for them. Aloya, meanwhile, Roaster and Shakram will be the call, and away we go. And already Riffa gets caught by his own missile, and it's a high risk, high reward arm. It's a full guided system, unlike the Roaster that Aloya is using. It does massive electrical damage, but crucially, if it does get caught on your side, not only will it self-destruct like the nades do, but worse than that, it will paralyze yourself immediately, and it gives your opponent a chance to come on in for a counter-attack. And the Lawyer does get a grab as well. Just having to be so careful of that Siki. The second you see it coming, you have to get the shield up, because nothing is going to stop it. And unfortunately, the rush is going to do big time damage as well. 310. If it hits twice, it can go over 400, and it's just brutal to see it. The Lawyer doesn't get a read with their rush even. Again, the missile just poking on through, sends the Lawyer down into critical, and well, Riffa showing you why he is the reigning champion. Just consistently landing so many hits. But again, another self-destruct. Aloya hanging on in there. And finally, it is going to find a way through. But good calls in the end from Aloya. But just unfortunately committed just a little too much towards the end. And Riffa is not one to let mistakes go unpunished. As we go into the second point. Chilla and Siki remains on Misango. The red mask being up gives them that little extra power, but it's going to get immediately taken away from them with another grab from Aloya, who's coming in with the Power Soul now. again just immediately gets knocked down by the wonderful shock of the Siki. He manages to land the ram, but unfortunately, when you do a trade like that, Masango is going to stay up, and unless you can punish, which they weren't able to do so because of the Siki, the exchange is never going to go in your favor. And again, it's another up close and personal rush with the Siki. Riffa just getting more and more damage and gets the explosion cancel as well. Blue mask coming up from Masango gives them that little extra speed just because, you know, hitting Masango was hard enough as it was. Gets the grab as well. Not quite the KO, needs one more hit in to get the full point of this set. The Power Solar Rams just not finding their way through, and again the Siki locks on into the target, finds the result, and Riffa leads the set by 1-0. Yeah, as clean as you like there from Riffa. Lawyer getting some pretty decent grabs in there, it must be said, able to just swing Riffa out every now and then, but again, just the damage output from that missile is it's so much. And we are going to see, unbelievably, our second counterpick stage of the day. We saw Scrapyard in the previous one. We're going to see Via Dulce in this one. Sometimes we have tournaments where we don't see any of the counterpicks at all, but not this time around, my friends. And it's going to be a switch again. We got Min Min coming in. And what is Min Min bringing to the table here? Power Soul and Ram. Riffa drops the Siki for the Megawatt, so one of the heavier arms in this game. Anything that hits it, well, not only will it be ignored, the Watt will just continue on moving. And also probably a decent choice for Riffa as well. Well, you don't have to worry about it exploding in your face anymore. Lawyer just trying to keep center stage, trying to keep Riffa hopped into that corner, but unfortunately not only has Riffa turned it around, they got the grab as well, and now you just feel like Riffa is just gonna come flying on in and not give a Lawyer the chance to get warmed back up again. Arm goes down. This is a free rush for Riffa. 350 puts a Lawyer into the corner, and suddenly Min Min has no way out of here. The Watt just comes on through. That's another shock. That is a KO, and this is just too easy for Riffa, isn't it? And now onto point number 2. We're going to see the Ram coming out again. In fact, we're going to see double Rams from a Lawyer, and immediately just waits, but unfortunately Riffa is too far away. That is unfortunately what this stage is all about. It's such a long stage in terms of the twists and the turns, and Riffa comes in for even more aggression. 335 damage. Now just goes that little bit faster, not allowing these Rams to get anywhere near them, let alone around the Watt itself. And now as they distance themselves down, the Lawyer finally gets the rush up, the Dragon Arm up on the left hand side, so Ram is up to full potential, but again the Chiller lands and just robs the ability straight away. And the Lawyer just can't afford to be pinned in this corner. The Rams are they're just not doing anything at the moment. Riffa has yet another rush charge up. Now finally does a Lawyer, and the yellow dreaded mask. When you're both at rush, you never want to see Masango with the yellow mask up. They'll just win out the exchange over and over and over again. And again, another quick little 1-2 poke. Riffa knows that they've got this in the bag. Another Megawatt punch right away through, and that will be a KO. And that will be Riffa advancing into winners final yet again. It's gonna be another top 3 position guaranteed. And to give you an idea of how many times Riffa has been in the top 3 at this point in time, well, whatever happens, whatever position Riffa gets, oh my goodness me, it will be the 38th time that Riffa has made it into top 3 in the Challenge Cup. It is... who else but Riffa? Am I right? And with that, semi-final 1 is done and dusted. Semi-final 2 will be coming up in just one moment, and that set will be between Grimwood and Replicant. So, as we hop on in, these are two former winners of this cup. Replicant winning this 3 times. The last top 3 appearance, ironically enough, was the last cup, but didn't quite make it to the final. That accolade went to Grimwood, who is a 6-time winner of this event. Managed to make it, but unfortunately could not best Riffer in the grand finals. They've got another chance potentially on the horizon if they can get through Replicant. It's going to be a very close match between the two Replicants on the left-hand side of your screen. Grimwood on the right. And it is going to be a Lollipop versus Max Brass. Back to Mausoleum we will go. Replicants on the left-hand side of your screen. Hydra and Phoenix. Grimwood, meanwhile, coming in with double nades. We really have been seeing nades quite a lot, it must be said, in this stream, or let alone in a lot of the ARMS matches that we've been commentating on throughout the past few months. But it is going to be all of the firepower all of the time. And to be fair, Replicant has a decent idea coming in with this, trying to utilize Lola's bouncy nature. Also can waddle along with the shield as well, just to try and negate the nades and the explosions. And maybe try to find a way around with the Phoenix, especially with the Hydra. Grimwood trying to go for the little mini explosion juggle, but unfortunately, Replicant had already hit the floor before that rush went anywhere near them. But Grimwood still has a decent lead already on their side, getting Replicant down to half with a lot of very just brutal nade shots so far. Replicant with rush ready to go, just trying to find a good position and using Lola's wonderful little mobility boosts just to get into the swing of things, but unfortunately Grimwood can get the grabs just that little bit more scarier, and Grimwood already gets to the side of Lola and just grabs them out of the air, and another big time hug for Boot. And the one thing you don't want to be is being grabbed by Max Brass. The damage that he could do is still a little bit more intimidating, and yeah, it shows. Replicant gonna switch up to the homie, so not as electrical as the Seeky, but still damage can be done. But unfortunately, a rush is going to come up. Brass just jumps clean over the missile, comes over the rush, and nothing Replicant can do about it. Hydra, unfortunately, bouncing off the shield again, and the nades just run on through. And despite being unguided arms, Grimwood is hitting these very consistently, and another big-time grab sends Replicant all the way down. They have rush to go, but look at the health difference between the two. Clips one of the nades and forces it to explode, but Grimwood just shakes it off. Heavyweight character like Brass, it'll take a lot more than that to knock Brass down. It is why you need to hit with these Hydras as much as you can. If they charged up as a fire element, it will knock down heavyweight characters regardless. Oh dear. And that's a wake-up grab for Grimwood. And with that, they seal a very quick point, up 1-0 in this set. And Grimwood, who likes to bounce between Coil and Brass, showing full well why Brass was the original one he used for such a long time. Not only does he still have it, but just nothing Replicant could do. Every single time that, like, the first point was a lot closer than the second point. Replicant was able to utilize the hops and the bounces quite nicely, but unfortunately in that second point, the second they went for that rush and Grimwood just slid to the side and grabbed, you just felt it was going, slowly but surely it was going towards Grimwood. We are seeing... Oh. VAR check. We might not be having it happening. We might not have this point go the way we thought it would. It might... Oh no. Were we not resetting? I don't think we were resetting. I'm not sure. I don't think we're resetting. I haven't seen an announcement saying we are. So, as far as I'm aware, this is match number 2. Replicant coming in with the roaster and the lockjaw. Grimwood gonna come in with double roasters now instead of the nade, so going for firepower instead of explosion power. And interested to see the lockjaw coming out, one of the more unique arms in this game, where it fires off the fireball projectile and then follows in with the rest of the punch. Grimwood almost gets in another wake-up grab, but just a fraction too late that time round. But again, the second you see Max Brass buff up and you see the charged roasters coming straight at you, it's so intimidating. That's before we even get down into the critical nature of Max Brass's kit, and Replicant already going down past the halfway mark as the roasters continue to burn on. And again, Replicant tries to go for the bounce approach, and Grimwood shuts them down almost immediately, and a big time hug for boot. And Grimwood is just dominating this matchup so far. The Lockjaw has not been doing anything here, and the roaster of Replicant just keeps bouncing away off Grimwood. Finally gets a hit in and takes that little bit of health down, but again, Grimwood just trying to go for style, trying to get the KO from the grab alone. So Lockjaw follows on through. The roaster finally gets a little bit of a poke, but with 25 seconds to go, Replicant's got a lot of hits to do, and they're gonna have to do it very, very quick here. Managing to punch through another grab attempt to make that 2 in a row for Grimwood. Arm weak on the left hand side. Rush is gonna come out and actually does catch Grimwood with 10 seconds left on the clock. Now Brass gets very scary here, as you can see. Perma buffs for Grimwood. If they can hit just at least one punch, this will likely go either way. 1 second on the clock, both with similar health, but it is gonna be Grimwood who takes it. The tiniest of margins are gone to the game, but Grimwood somehow holds on to that lead. Sometimes you just never know. You never know which way the game will decide the health bar goes, but in that occasion, it is Grimwood's by the tiniest of margins. Replicant did so well to come back into it. The rush was perfect, but Grimwood just needed to just hold back, and the hold back they did. But the bolts now coming through on Replicant, and again, against a character like Brass, they are a heavyweight character that have a much bigger hitbox to hit, and those 3 horizontal bolts, they have a very good chance of dishing out the damage, but unfortunately so too does that rush. 290. The fact that Grimwood's coming in with the Chakram is just showing you that they know that straight up boxing is no longer working, and switching up that tactic. And again, Grimwood has a big time lead, but again, Replicant able to get some damage, not as much as last time around, but still enough to peg Grimwood towards the edge of critical. They've got to do as much damage as they can though before they get there, trying to negate as much of the critical buff up that Brass possesses. Another big time hug. Replicant just a poke away from going down. Make that a poke, make that a grab, and Brass went from winning by the skin of his teeth in that initial point to finally cruising on through. And it is a 2-0 win for the Brass. The top 2 seeds are into winners final, just like it has been throughout the previous few tournaments. Nothing that Replicant could really do. They were doing so well. They had an amazing little comeback there when you thought the point might finally swing into Replicant's favor, but the game just decides that there's a millimeter in it in Grimwood's favor, and with that, Grimwood takes that initial point away. And it does mean that winners final will be coming up, my friends, and it will be between Riffa and Grimwood. We are cruising on in this tournament at the moment. No surprise comebacks just yet. And whilst we get ourselves ready for the next match, we can tell you that Yoshi Bowser has taken out Dazza by 2 points to 1. So we have our first 2-1 of the day, which is always nice to see. And Dazza will finish this competition in 7th, I'm afraid. So it will be Replicant versus Raziel and Aloya versus Yoshi Bowser down in Underground round 2. They will be fighting for that top 4 position. But meanwhile, we are going to be focused on winners final. It will be Riffa, reigning champion Riffa, to go up against Grimwood. Between them, well, Riffa has 16 cup wins, Grimwood has 6. So yeah, between them, they have 22 cups. Grimwood wants to try and make their way for a 7th. Riffa not just looking for that 17th, but looking to be the first person in this competition to hold the cup for 5 weeks for 5 events in a row. They are currently tied with Iceman and Yada on 4, but they want to go that one higher. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, just waiting for Grimwood to rejoin. And once they do, we'll be on the way for winners final. Remember, the winner of this will be going into grand finals. The loser will drop into underground final, but it's why we always say that they are guaranteed top 3 at this point, because underground final, well, you win that, you go into grand finals. If you lose that, you end up 3rd. So this is top 3 territory, and both of these two players are no strangers to that in the slightest. I mean, you look at the stats and you know everything favors Riffer, because of course it does. Like, even finishing in 3rd place, Riffer has finished more times in 3rd than Grimwood has. Grimwood with 3 thirds, 9 second places, and 6 victories. Riffer, meanwhile, with 7 third place finishes, 14 second place finishes, and 16 overall wins. So you get the general idea. Whilst we await for Grimwood to come in, just a little shout out to those in the chat. Dazza, it's good to have you in here. Raziel, glad you're enjoying the show. Iceman, good to see you. Shame you couldn't make it this time round, but it's still nice to see you regardless. Replicant in the chat as well. Arkham, thank you very much. Teddy, excited to see some EU arms. I'm very glad you're looking forward to it. And it's not just the EU scene. I mean, obviously, you know, Nintendo likes to put on the online opens for NA. And they seem to do it for all of the games. But over here in Europe, we don't get that. Which is a little annoying. You know, I would absolutely love to do some official commentary for Nintendo in terms of ARMS and Splatoon and stuff like that, but unfortunately they just never run the online opens here, which it sucks. It does hurt a bit, but hey, at least they're still running them in America, so, you know, and people are still signing up, so it's good to have. It's good to see. You players look so good. I mean, everyone's trying to beat Riffer. And as a result, everyone is just improving to the point where they're trying to find strategies around Riffer, but when it comes to fighting each other, it's like, ah, crap, it's a bit too close. Which is good. You like it when the matches are as close as possible. Riffer on the left-hand side of your screen as Ninjara. Grimwood coming in with Brass. It's all to play for in winners final. Remember, it is best of 5 at this point. So it'll be the first 2-3 victories as Ninjara comes in with the Tri-Blast and the Ice Dragon. And already the Tri-Blast making short work of Grimwood, and so too does the Ice Dragon. It's a deadly combo that we've seen Riffer use time and time again. Grimwood trying to come in with the Popper, a much more light arm. One of the lighter arms in the game. Also one of the quickest as a result, but it just can be punched through by anything. So if the Ram can get around and hit before the Dragon can get a charge out, then that is Grimwood's main goal. But already Grimwood down into critical. Riffer went for the rush, but Grimwood was already sidestepped and already away from it. And this is where Grimwood becomes deadly. Brass in that perma crit state, as you can see, is just completely buffed up all of the time. And Riffer knows taking hits from this is just so dangerous. Riffer already into critical as a result, as the Chakram is just completely keeping them off guard, and the Dragon can't get a hit in time. And just like that, Grimwood turns that entire fight around. Riffer will come in with the Tri-Blast and the Ice Dragon. In the early goings, Riffer's able to bring them down pretty quickly, but the second Brass got that perma buff, it just didn't look like anything was happening. Grimwood again with another stop of their own, and look at the aggression that Grimwood is bringing into this match, completely walling off Riffer and not giving them a chance to even start doing any of their teleportation shenanigans, let alone setting up the Dragon. Already down into critical. The chills are finally going to come around not once but twice, slowing Grimwood down that little bit more. But again, another popper hit is going to send Riffa down. Rush has to come out because Riffa's got nothing else left. Finally gets Grimwood down, but crucially, it's permabuff time, and Grimwood knows they only need to hit one more hit, and they'll be absolutely fine. But Riffa, Riffa gets the grab and sends Grimwood down. Grimwood had a chance to take an early set lead, but keeping the shield up just a little too long. And Riffa is going to punish it and tie this set up. Grimwood goes for the initial rush, teleporting from Riffa is going to make sure they don't take any damage from it. Ninja, one of those characters where the shield doesn't really work for them, but if it does block something, they just immediately teleport whichever way the player would like them to go. And in this occasion, Riffa just goes all the way to the left hand side just to stay away from the oncoming rush. That was Brass's just everything. But again, another little popper does finally find a way through. And Riffa just needs to slow this down a little bit more, and this is exactly what they're going to do with the dragon. Finally gets the blast through as well, and a very good call on the grab as well, and Grimwood hits into that perma-crit state. That big old intimidation factor is coming on in as the Chakram almost gets themselves another little square and rushing at the right time, but Grimwood gets away with it. Big time damage coming in, 275 both into critical condition, as Riffa is being completely walled out, and the biggest of hugs from Grimwood finally takes the point away, and it will be Grimwood who starts with the advantage. Grimwood takes a point away from Riffa, and in a set where you need to get to 3 first, Riffa's got it all to do to bring this back, although it was very close from start to finish. But again, Brass is at his scariest the second he goes into critical condition. It's why if you can try and get them onto the cusp of it and then go for the KO so that it never activates at all, it's a very good tactic if you can make it work. But Grimwood is being so aggressive, Riffa might not even have a chance to really do anything like that as the popper and Chakram comes back in yet again. The fact that these combinations are working just shows you don't always need to have just a normal a boxing glove. You can just have anything you want on there and still make it work. The Tri-Blast, Ice Dragon, and Popper and Chakram are very much good old contenders for that. Another Tri-Blast does connect. Always love the fact that when the bolts do hit, they do the damage initially, then they explode if it's charged. So it's almost just like a double whammy, which is why the dragon can get charged up and just add to the onslaught. And look at how Riffa is being consistent with the bolts, but all that very much changes the second Grimwood activates buff. And here we go again, another 1-2 from that ram, just rolls Riffa out, another catch with that, and this will be a KO. I believe this will be a KO for sure, and Grimwood is just... Grimwood has one goal and one goal in mind, and that is to ruin Riffa's day. And so far they are doing exactly that. Rush from Riffa is up to go. Again, caught out by another Chakram hit, and Grimwood has just got this timing down beautifully. And the explosion! It was a self-destruct that cost Riffa that rush. The popper must have caught it. And Riffa went from being in a great position to rush to not having it at all. Arm weak and broken on the left hand side as Grimwood just continues to mount this pressure, and there's nothing that Riffa can seem to do about this. Finally gets a blast hit in there as they try to keep this health level as best they can, both now with rush available. Crucially, Grimwood hasn't committed to another follow-up rush just yet. They're gonna hold on for just a little while longer, but you feel like it's only a matter of time, and there it is. Big time damage, 280 sends Riffa down into critical, just about gets away from the grab attempt coming on in, and a grab at this point, well, anything at this point will do. Another rush comes out, but again, Grimwood is gonna get away with it. Dodges and shields the rest of it just to make sure. Another blast hit finally does come through, and Grimwood goes past the halfway mark, but crucially, Riffa cannot afford to take any more damage, and bearing in mind Grimwood's on the cusp of critical, make that into critical, and here comes perma buff Brass, one shot in it, that's a popper, and Grimwood has a 2-point lead. Grimwood has a 2-point lead against reigning champion Riffa. Are we about to see one heck of a mix-up here? Are we about to see reigning champion Revolutionary Riffa actually be knocked into underground bracket? It's been a while. It's been a long while since Riffa has found themselves having to come through the underground side of things. But Riffa will have to do the reverse sweep to avoid that. Grimwood is on absolute fire here. Tri-Blast and Slam is going to come out from Riffa, clearly realizing the Ice Dragon is just not working. They need a curved arm utility to try and counter out that Chakram, and this will be their chance to try and finally do that. And so far, it's working out that little bit better already. The Tri-Blasts are being a bit more consistent, and the Slams are threatening Grimwood big time. In fact, it's definitely taken them a while to get back into this match. Riffa already has a massive health lead here. And this is Riffa very much waking up here, clearly realizing the Ice Dragon just was not working, but now finally Grimwood starting to get some more purchase on the Chakram. Both trading with their respective windy slaps. And that's always great to see the both of them just get caught. The Popper just about hit at the same time as the Slam, and the Popper is consistently rolling Riffa out. Grimwood is into critical, gets caught by the Slam, and that is really Riffa's get out of jail free at this point. Gets away with the rush just about, caught at the tail end of it for 100, and now needs to be incredibly careful to not fall foul of another 1-2 combo. Almost got caught out there, has to go for the rush, settles for the KO. Riffa gets one back, knowing full well they could not allow Grimwood to get another foothold into a full-on set away from him. And that is going to be Tri-Blast and Slam sticking on in. In fact, neither player switching out those arms. And Grimwood starting even more aggressively than the previous match. They are just going all in with these. Obviously, they just don't flinch anyway, so it's up to Riffa to try and land the charged Slam hits where they can. That's the only way they'll really take Grimwood off his feet, and so far it's Grimwood just walling Riffa in here, not allowing them to get even a poke on through. And the Popper is going to bounce off the wall again this time, but again the damage has been done. Grimwood has a massive health lead. They're just looking for one more hit from pretty much anything will do. Popper just about missing on the left hand side, but that arm is weakened up, and it does break in the end. And Grimwood is on set point. Set point for Grimwood. Everybody sticking with their respective arms, both with a rush available. Who will be the one to blink first? Another little bolt poke finds its way through, but it's not the end of the world for Grimwood in the slightest. They get more damage done. Another arm is going to finally come their way. The arm of question is the Slam, just sends Grimwood into the sky as the blast bounce off the shield. And again, another curve, but again, Riffa just not in the position to go in for that juggle rush. You always love to see it happen, but again, it can be so awkward to hit sometimes. And Riffa finds themselves past the halfway mark. Grimwood comes in, walls out Riffa again. They are just a rush away, but the Slam goes right in, direct onto the center, and catches Grimwood out, and this will be a juggle. Will this be the KO? It won't be the KO. Grimwood finds themselves into critical, and the Slam gets the wake up, and Riffa somehow stays in this set. It's 2 points to 1. Holy damn. Grimwood was determined. Grimwood was absolutely determined to take that point away, but Riffa somehow just about holds on. Oh my goodness me. It's 2-1 though, so Grimwood still does have a point in hand. Can Grimwood finally manage to take a point away? They are so close to sending Riffa down into the underground bracket, but Riffa is Riffa, and we just know exactly what he is designed to do. He wants to go through this as best they can. Oh my goodness me. So we're gonna see how this plays out. There's currently a debate going on in the Discord. Grimwood leads the set by 2 points to 1. Riffa having to really dig deep to try and find a way in, even when switching to the slam. Yes, it worked out initially, but Grimwood finding a way back through. Sorry, just elbowing the microphone there. Just getting a little bit too excited. I say a little bit too excited. You can never be too excited for any kind of gaming competition, and it's always great to see everybody in arms coming out and flinging left, right, and center. Looks like we're gonna have a quick little router reset. And we should be continuing on in just a moment. We're just gonna allow for this to take place, but still, it has been incredible to see what they've all been up to. And meanwhile, in the underground bracket, I can tell you right now that Replicant has knocked out Raziel by 2 points to 0, and Aloria has taken out Yoshi Bowser by 2 points to 0. So, underground semi-final, I don't know if that's currently underway or not. It might be, for all I know. I haven't seen any confirmation on it, but essentially, it's a former winner going up against someone who has only been in the top 3 once, and that is Aloria. Let's see if Aloria can make history and make it there for only the second time. It would be a pretty historic and memorable moment if they could do so, or if Replicant can make it a top 3 of winners only, just like we've been seeing very much consistently. And it looks like we are going to get ourselves a double reset. So we will just quickly hop into another lobby. And yeah, it does look like that match is already underway. So we will have a look in the underground bracket to see how that plays. There we go. So, a brand new lobby, and since Grimwood is the first one in here, I'm just going to quickly do myself a favor and just switch those 2 names around. There we go. Yeah, the way the game works is that whoever is in the lobby first takes priority on which side of the screen they go in. So if Grimwood is in here first, then they are always going to be popped onto the left-hand side of the screen. If it was Riffa first, then it would be Riffa on the left-hand side of your screen. The latter person always goes on the right-hand side. So, but thankfully that's not a problem at all. It's an easy fix, so nothing to worry about at all. We're just used to that. Alright, and it looks like we are going to be ready to go. So, winners final will resume now. We are on match number 4 of this set. We could see a match 5 if Riffa decides to pull out the reverse sweep card. It has been done. We've seen it before, and we'll probably see it again, knowing how these two go. But Grimwood is determined to find a way through, to send Riffa into underground final. Not many people can say that they've done that. Grimwood will be determined to do so, and we are going to get a breath of fresh air from Mausoleum. We are going to go to Buster Beach. Brass versus Ninjara, as is usually the case. What will Riffa's call be? Not the dragon, or is the dragon? No, we are going to see the return of the dragon. So the slam works in Mausoleum, but they feel like they're going to be a bit more comfortable using the Ice Dragon combination in Buster Beach. We'll see how this plays out. Obviously, there is that dreaded hot pocket that nobody wants to be caught into. That there is no doubt. Shakram and Popper still going to be the call for Grimwood. Starting off strong, but Riffa's going to quickly drop that back down with a grab of their own, and immediately tries to follow on through and does so with that little 1-2 combo. As long as the dragon is ready to go out and the blast has been somewhat negated, the dragon might still find a way of poking on through, and you have to be so careful with that. A nice little 1-2 combination, just taking Grimwood out once again. the blast into the dragon. Riffa is so consistent with landing them. It's why Grimwood has to be so careful and I hope that the popper can at least hit before anything else can make any kind of a dent. Both on similar health. Grimwood inching closer and closer into critical. Gets a successful chakram hit and comes through with the rush as well. Will that be enough? It's not quite enough. 350 damage. They're looking for one more poke before they can finally get the KO on Riffa. And there it is. Popper just clips them onto the left-hand side. And once again, it is set point. It is set point for Grimwood. They just need to convert one more and they will send Riffa down into the go back. But unfortunately they missed. They missed with the grab and I thought that was going to hit for sure. But it bounced off the floor just in front of Riffa and it's 395 on that rush instead. And it sends Grimwood past the halfway mark and Riffa has quite the sizable lead, but they are currently in that hot pocket area. Another grab attempt missing from Grimwood. They are charging up that rush very, very quickly, and they do catch Riffa in the end. 320 of their own accord, and now they're going to try and just balance this back into their side of the field. Another quick little 1-2 chain. Ice Dragon finally finds a way of slowing down the brass, and the rush is going to come out as well, and that will KO. I do believe it will. 270. Down goes the brass. It's still set point for Grimwood, but now we could see a match 5 if Riffa can pull off one more win. They're going to switch out the dragon into the slam. Clearly they feel like they might be able to play this a little differently with that added curved utility. And already they're coming in so aggressively with the blast. I don't think Grimwood is expecting that kind of tenacity out of the gate here, especially on this last point. They have the advantage though, but unfortunately just not hitting anything with the rush. Clips him for 30 at the very least, gives them a chance to reposition and go in for the aggression. That's exactly what they're doing. Pinning Ninjara into the corner, allowing them to essentially teleport right into the weight of another arm. And Riffa again has got to find a way of slowing down the brass. Finally the range has been added up here, and again another blast is going to try and keep brass down in this position, and another rush is going to come out, sending them straight back into the corner, keeping them in that corner for dear life if they can. Perma buffs now for Grimwood, but Riffa is just a hit away from getting the poke, and it's going to be match 5. Riffa was 2-0 down, and it's 2-2. He's tied the setup yet again. Riffa just refuses to lose. And so back to Buster Beach, I think, is where it's going to go. Yes, it is. And Grimwood is going to switch from Brass to Kid Cobra. And with that, it means, well, it's not going to be quite a full-on difference set since the Chakram and the Popper are still there. But crucially, it's going to be the clapback that's coming out here. So it's basically an extra shield, and it also gives them the chance to repel an arm right back into Riffa's face. But unfortunately, I don't feel like it's going to be as good as they would like it to be, considering the fact that Riffa is using a curved arm in the form of the slam. But if it can bounce off the clapback, it will go straight back into Riffa's face. So we'll see how this ends up playing out. And so far, Grimwood just keeping Riffa at bay. Although they are just essentially just trading pokes at this point in time. Neither of them really getting a full-on purchase onto this match. And obviously Cobra, that little bit more of a slippery character, able to slide around very, very quickly. And that was a... That explosion came out of nowhere. I honestly thought that wasn't charged, but I guess it was. And it does deal just that little bit extra damage to Grimwood. Both River Rush available, but trying to find the right moment to go for this rush. And obviously Ninja wanted to try and find a way of getting around Cobra. It's easier said than done. And Cobra gonna try and wall Riffa into that corner, not allow them to come out of the hot pocket, because again, you with the extra form of that shield, you're essentially creating a mini wall. It's very hard to get through, and Riffa are gonna try and go for it, but the clapback is gonna explode right into their face. And Grimwood gets the much better of the exchange, but Riffa realizes that with 20 seconds to go, they're going to have to play aggressive if they want to come back from behind. Yet again, they're on the cusp of critical, and the slam is going to catch up to Grimwood as they pass the halfway mark, but Riffa is in critical, and with 7 seconds to go, it looks like Grimwood should be able to hold on, and with that touch, they absolutely will hold on. Riffa does get a grab, just to say I'm not out of this yet, but once again, for the 3rd match in a row, Grimwood is on set point. But can they finally convert this? We're going to find out. Riffa drops the slam. Going to come back in with the dragon, but immediately gets caught by the popper. Another grab, and Cobra is now starting to build up steam. They're walling out Riffa, keeping them in the hot pocket. Rush coming out, and now coming out for both of them, and the clapback just completely ignores everything that Riffa has on offer. And Grimwood is in the driver's seat here. They have a massive health lead, and Riffa just can't seem to find a way around the clapback. In fact, it's almost like switching out to the Ice Dragon is making their life that little bit more difficult, because now they don't have any proper way of purchasing around that clapback. They just have to hope that the Tri-Blast can land, the clapback gets negated, and the Dragon can follow up. That's all they can do. And play the aggression game as well, which isn't really suitable for an arm like the Dragon. And Grimwood finally takes it. Grimwood takes it pretty nicely in the end. It's a 3-2 win for Grimwood, and Riffa, the reigning champion. It feels like it's been an eternity, but he will find himself in the Underground final. They'll have to do an extra match if they want to try and retain that title now. This is going to be a very interesting finish to this competition, as Riffa is down into Underground final, and Grimwood has a chance to snatch history away from Riffa. Can that actually happen? I guess we'll find out soon enough. So, Grimwood awaits in the grand final. Riffa awaits in the Underground final. Who will face them to determine who will finish second and who will finish third? It's going to be between Replicant and Eloria. I don't know if that match has started yet or not. I thought it might have done, but if it hasn't, then we may be doing that on stream in just a moment. So we'll soon find out what is happening. I'm just waiting for word from our wonderful organizers. By the way, if you are tuning in and you are interested in everything that's happening here, we do have results. We do actually have results, but I will just quickly finish that train of thought. Remember that we do have our Twitter, our YouTube, and our Twitch here at EU_arms. For YouTube, it's EU Arms Competitive, and for Twitter, it is at European_arms. You can find all details for upcoming events and tournaments, as well as how you can get involved elsewhere. It's great to be around. It's an ever-growing community, and we've got our Discord underneath in the description below, which you can find your way to as well. And it looks like that match has indeed finished, and unfortunately for Aloy, it is not going to be history in their favor. They have lost to Replicant, a 2-1 match, so it did go the distance, but Aloy will finish 4th, just outside of the top 3 again. Just can't seem to book their ticket into the top 3. And it does mean that it will be Riffa to take on Replicant in the Underground final. And there we go. So, it is best of 5s from here on out. Grimwood awaits in the grand final. Who will join them there? 3-time winner Replicant or 16-time winner and reigning champion Riffa? We will find out in just a moment. It looks like Temple Grounds will be where we start. And I think that means we've pretty much had every stage on show today, bar DNA Labs. I think DNA Labs is the only starter stage we haven't seen today, because we've seen the other two counter picks as well. So yeah, just that one to go. So underground final time is 9. Replicant on the left hand side of your screen. Coming in with Lollipop, Hydra, and Lockjaw. Riffa, meanwhile, well, Riffa does what Riffa does best, and that's Ninjara. Coming in with the Triblast and the Ash Dragon, immediately gets floored by the verticality of the Hydras, and both trading. Very odd trades there. Replicant getting caught by the Dragon, but Riffa getting caught by the big ol' explosion just sent flying there. Just goes to show just how well matched these two are, and obviously we've got the 4 pillars up as well. Well, I say 4, we got 3. Well, no, make that 2 now, as they quickly drop on down, and Riffa gets nailed yet again with the Hydras. And the Lockjaw, again, nice to see that unique arm coming back. Our Replicant does like using it, and it's clear to see why. Rush comes out from Riffa, but it's going to hit chip damage and nothing more. It gets a little lick of paint right towards the end, but that's all they will do. But at least manages to follow it with another quick little 1-2 chain of their own. Replicant now comes in, but unfortunately misses with the Lockjaw, and Riffa just walls out the rest of it. And it does mean that Riffa continues to take the advantage in this underground final for the time being. Doesn't quite get the grab though. A little too close to Replicant, who is ready for the punch through it. Just about holds on, although they are into critical now. And one more hit from Riffa will do it. And they will take that point away from them in the end. Both of them doing their absolute best to just keep on moving, keep evading as best they can. Obviously Lola with their jumpy nature could just springboard out of just any situation. And then obviously you've got Riffa, who is just, well, just Ninjara, just teleports wherever he wants to really. So both really coming in with their respective arms and abilities. And whilst Riffa does get the initial bop with the bolts, unfortunately it just pushes Lola to the side enough to get the shield up and wall out the rest of that, and manages to follow on through with the Hydra hit as well. Replicant also coming in with the Power Baller now, so clearly wanting to come for a more direct approach. Gets a little bit more of quickness, although it does open up and slow down towards the end of its launch. That shock is still something you never want to underestimate, and that is a juggle of 325. Couldn't quite get the last hit as they came down, but that's okay. Decent enough damage. It gives Replicant their health lead, but they just need to find a way of keeping this up. Not allowing the bolts and the dragons to start chaining up. And they do have Riffa into critical, so you never know. Replicant might be finding their groove here, and slowly but surely they're nicking away at this help, although unfortunately getting caught by another poke from the bolts. That's why you can never underestimate Riffa, especially at these kind of times. Arm weak on the left hand side though. Replicant knows if they can break the shield, this will be a KO, and it will get them right back into this match, and they have got themselves back into this match. The shock comes on through. The Power Baller is great for that, and with that, it's one apiece. Who is going to take the first point of this set? Replicant going to stick with everything that's been working so far in that previous set. The Power Baller forcing the self-destruct on the Triblast almost immediately, which is why Riffa kind of just slowed it down a little bit. Just got themselves a little bit of a breather, get themselves into the right pace of mind. But again, another 1-2 from Replicant is going to give them precision, and Riffa can't take advantage of the rush either. Replicant was well out of the way of it, and even had a pillar to boot. And Rush is going to come out, but Riffa is going to punish it. Teleports in, grabs immediately, and there was nothing Replicant could do to stop that one from happening this time round. Another Power Baller hit, just blocked and teleported away for Riffa. He tries to keep this health decimate at as low as possible, but so far they are going to be the first ones to dip underneath the halfway mark. The Triblast is able to start catching on up, and another quick little 1-2 chain. And even when the laser isn't charged up, as long as it can just hit after the Tribolt that the Triblast have, they will get the knockdown, and it's just that little bit extra damage. And Riffa now finally finding his groove. 30 seconds left on the clock. Replicant knows they kind of have to be careful here, plays it patiently, waits for Riffa to utilize the rush. Now they have the chance to go in for a potential big damage move of their own, but they get caught by the explosion right up past them, and that is a free KO for you. Will that be it? Yes, it will be it. And Replicant waited perfectly for that. Rush comes out, gets the KO, and Riffer is down by 1-0 in the Underground final. Well, this changes things quite a bit. For Riffer to be behind already. I mean, we have seen a lot of matches over the past few tournaments where Riffer has been behind the entire set and still gone on to win. And they've done it time and time and time again. So, it's one thing to start getting excited, but to see Riffer being down already in Underground bracket, when we haven't seen him down in this side of the tournament for quite some time, it makes you wonder if it may happen today. If history will be rewritten. We are gonna see Buster Beach make an appearance once again as Replicant and Riffer continue their jumpy teleporting goodness. Lola versus Ninjara. Riffer gonna stick with the Dragon and the Triblast. Replicant bringing back that Lockjaw alongside the Hydra. And immediately starts off with the shield. See if they could bait anything out of Riffer, and instead falls foul to Riffer's initial poke. Lockjaw unfortunately missing onto the right hand side of the screen as the pair of them just start to jostle for position around the main plinth. And it's Riffer who gets the better of the purchase once again. It's a little bit more closed in for Riffer, so it feels like that they're able to move around that a little bit more. Like, it almost feels like the Riffer does not like being in stages where there's a lot of area to move around in, and gets another big time rush to land, dropping Replicant into critical already. Finally, the Lockjaw finds a way of poking on through, but look at their health deficit between the two, and Riffer knows just a couple more pokes will land them a crucial point lead. And again, the balls land true. Dragon nowhere near on that occasion, just absolutely away from Lola, but not the second time of asking. Riffer will take that point away. And Replicant realizing that that was just not working out for them, drops the Lockjaw, brings back the Powerball, and immediately starts with a Hydra poke of their own. Riffer unfortunately thought they could get away with that, and the Powerballer also going to get a good read as well. Make that 3 good reads in a row, and a rush to boot, 365, and Replicant has a massive health lead here, turning that beautifully around, but Riffer quickly finds that little bit of a groove that they needed, got a few pokes back, but already dropping into critical condition in the early stages of the second point. Replicant again just bouncing over the Ice Dragon, but caught out by the blasts once more. With a minute left on the clock, you feel like the more hits that Riffer starts to consistently land, the more pressure Replicant is going to find themselves under. Especially since all they're able to do so far is just stop the Dragon and have to take the bolt. And so far they're finding a way through, but the grab is going to make absolute sure that they do get a point back onto the board. So Replicant now with a chance to go 2-0 up and repeat what Grimwood did in Winners Final. But to do that, they're going to have to really get a good read on when Riffer is going to jump with this rush. Ice Dragon and Bolts gets another 1-2 chain. Down goes the Lola as Riffer just decides to stay in the corner, tries to jump away, but gonna get caught again by 360 damage. The Hydra and the Powerball are doing absolute wonders so far, and another successful rush read for Replicant means that the damage is in their favor for the time being. As they both jostle for position, another nice little chain hit takes Replicant down, both on similar healths once again, and the Dragon is being crucial here, playing a much more aggressive style than otherwise would normally happen. And Rep drops past the halfway mark, gets another clip with the Powerballer, and another successful chain with the Hydra as well. Brings that health deficit back, in fact takes the lead with that, and knows that they can absolutely KO from here. We've seen it happen before, and Replicant just needs to be very, very patient with this. They cannot afford to let Riffer get anywhere close to a KO of their own, but unfortunately they have done now. both participants in KO range. Goes for the rush, but Riffa is not going to take any of that. Completely blocks it all out. And now Replicant is at the justice of what Riffa decides to dish out here. How will Riffa play this? They're putting Replicant under so much pressure, trying to bait out a mistake. They do have the health lead, so Replicant has to go for it. And the double commit is going to give Riffa the point back. It's 1-1. And this is what I mean. This is what I mean by you can never count Riffa out. Every single time you see Riffa drop a point, you know full well that he's probably going to come back with a strategy of his own. And to be fair, there's only so many arms that Riffa is going to switch out to. He's always going to have that Tri-Blast on, and it just always comes down to, will it be the Ice Dragon or will it be the Slam? It depends on the opponent, and it depends on the stage. And we are going to see every single stage on the official stage list make an appearance, because Replicant is going to take us to DNA Lab. Riffa is set and ready to go. So too is Replicant. Lola versus Ninjara once again in this underground final. It's currently 1 apiece. Neither player really switching up anything, although Lola does have that chiller in the back now, so we'll see if they decide to bring it to the table, and they are going to do so. Neither wanted to go for a curved tool. DNA Lab's one of the biggest stages in this game, also with 6 tubes to dance around as well if you so wish, so we'll see what each player decides to do with them. And so far, staying in the center for the time being, although Riffa did think about going for the tube, and now they do start dancing around the tube, trying to catch that little bit of surprise, flinging the blast out the second they go in for the move, and so far it is catching Replicant off guard more than it is Riffa. But then again, free bolts are always harder to dodge when you don't see them coming, especially around the tubes of DNA Lab. They are a lot bigger than the ones in Temple Grounds after all. Dragon just not finding its mark for the time being, but Replicant has thrown enough punches to go for the rush of their own. 335. It turns the tables back into their position, but unfortunately Riffa is doing so much damage with just the arms alone that they're keeping this manageable. And the Ice Dragon coming out again, and also with the rush, and there was nothing Replicant could do. They were always going to just drop straight back down into it. And that's what I mean. Riffa had this under control from the get-go, just looking for one more punch, one lick of paint. That's all they need. With 20 seconds left on the clock, but having said that, Replicant does have rush almost ready to go, and you know, a couple more pokes, they might be able to turn this away, but you also never want to risk that rush in the last dying seconds just to try and put pressure, unless you know your opponent is about to make a mistake. Grab is going to come out. That's going to drop their health significantly, but it's not going to be enough. Riffa did not get up in time for Replicant to be able to do anything else. They were hoping that he was going to get up immediately. He didn't. And as a result, the clock just went straight down. Replicant tried to go for the star rush, but Riffa expected it and immediately just boosts away from it. Gets clipped by the Parabola, but again, damage has not been done, and Riffa will now start to try and gain momentum here. That's the last thing Replicant's going to need, as the rush is going to come out and negates the punch. Just as it was about to land, Riffa had that get out of jail free card. They knew they could use it without fear of being punished by another rush of reps. Gets caught by the chiller. But again, Riffa will take that. Another trade between the two. But again, it's Riffa winning out the exchanges. The blasts are just now suffocating Replicant. Another tag with the arm weak on the right hand side to boot. And just like that, Riffa has almost got rushed back as well. And they have health lead. Finally gets caught by the chiller. And yet another one. Just jumping out between that tube just a little too quickly there. But they both know here that anything can still happen. Replicant is a punch away from going down. The rush is going to come out. Is this going to be a KO? It isn't. Unfortunately, Riffa got punted onto the top part of the little steps there, which was all the elevation Riffa needed to not get KO'd. And that, unfortunately, cost Replicant that point. It would have been a KO had it not been for that. But instead, Riffa now takes a 2-1 lead. Goodness me. Sometimes it just comes down to that. It comes down to stage placement. And that is why you always see some people go for specific stages more than others, because you're in the middle of DNA Lab, you've got the juggle rush, you've got it beautifully under control. You know if you get one more hit, it's going to be a KO, but just that slight little stage elevation is the difference between a character falling at the normal pace and a character already meeting the floor level, and that is just how it goes. So, what? I've just seen Replicant type into Discord, can we go to Ninja College? I mean, that caught me by surprise. That caught me by massive surprise. I saw Replicant type in college and I was just like, I didn't realize Ninja College was on this stage rotation. I know it's been on the counter picks for other tournaments, but I didn't think we had it added yet. But no, it's not to be. We are not going to see Ninja College. We are going to see Mausoleum once again. Hydra and Parabola again for Replicant. The windiest of slams and the Triblast again for Riffa. And once again, it is going to be Riffa who starts off the stronger of the two. Arm again weak on the right-hand side for Replicant. The damage again. Riffa always seems to operate on another level the second they're behind. The second they know the stakes are very much well and true. They just come alive in these tournaments. And another punish on the rush as well. And Replicant is slowly but surely losing control of this set. Riffa gets another successful read with the Triblast. Sends Rep back down. Into critical they go. And Riffa, well, you know in Riffa, they might just try and hold on to the rush at this point and just keep it for point number 2. Because you just feel like they're swimming in confidence. At the same time, they also know the Replicant is almost ready on a rush charge of their own. But again, another bolt appearance. Make that 2 in a row. They're just waiting for the third. And there is the hat trick. And they will keep that rush advantage into the next point. And my friends, it's set point for Riffa. Replicant is at least a second or 2 away from having rush of their own. The Chiller is going to come out instead of the Hydra. See if that can at least box down the slams. If it does indeed make contact, if it doesn't just curve around anyway. Does finally find a way of slowing Riffa's momentum down. But again, just so many of these Triblasts are coming through unchallenged. And despite getting the shock, Replicant not only can punish, but gets caught on the side as well. Their right arm going down and gave Riffa a chance to just jump straight back into contention. Missed opportunity for Replicant, but they find a way of waiting out for that grab. Gets some initial damage in. I think it was 175. Sent Riffa down on the first go round. They couldn't quite get the second juggle that they wanted. Riffa gets a slam, a hit, but got hit themselves, which meant they couldn't follow up with the rest of that rush. And that one changed into a flipping combo. That changed into an explosion from the Triblast. That was beautiful to see. And that is a poke right from Replicant. Right place, right time. Trampoline is out as well. And it completely stops Riffa's rush in its tracks. So Riffa will have to do this the hard way and with less space to run around on. Replicant slowly but surely waddles their way up, and Lollipop absolutely enjoys the fact that the trampoline is on show, has rush ready to go as well, but gets caught by the slam with 20 seconds to go. They cannot afford to throw this away. They have the health lead and they have the rush to go, but now so too does Riffa. 10 seconds on the clock. Which one of these two will buy first? It's gonna be Replicant. Riffa was trying to bait out, but unfortunately went straight into the side of the oncoming Parabola. And it means we are going to have another point here. It's still set point for Riffa, who starts off the better of the two with a successful Tri-Blast connection. Make that a successful Ice Dragon pick as well. Again, just pops Replicant onto the trampoline. Thought about going for something else, maybe going for that rush, but didn't go for the juggle at that point. Just getting a little extra 20 damage, and that will be it for the time being. Riffa knows that they've got the health lead at this point. There's still a long way in this match to go. Another lick of paint from the dragon and the arm weak on the left hand side, but that won't matter anyway because the shock from the parabola deals 320 thanks to that rush. Nicely played there by Replicant again, just waiting their time, going for those right moments, getting the parabola in just when Riffa thought it was not coming. But having said that, Riffa still maintains their health lead just about and make that a 1-2 punch. It gives Riffa the chance to potentially go in for the kill if they so wish. Arm weak on the left hand side. They know full well that Replicant will not be able to block all of this. Will it force the break? It doesn't! Replicant had the wherewithal to just bounce off to the right hand side. Will this be a punish? Just about. It gets the explosion but not the initial hit. So Replicant is a hit away from going down. The bolt just about missing. Replicant hanging on for dear life with 20 seconds to go. They know that Rush isn't too far away, but they've got to wait a few more seconds and hope that Riffa cannot get anything else through. Chains through the combination, goes for the rush, but isn't going to hit it. They're just about missing, and the explosion again is going to catch them off guard. So close for Replicant, bringing this all the way to match 5, but it's not going to happen, and the reigning champion is through to the grand final yet again. Oh, the trampoline saving Ninjaru's behind massively there. Right place, right time. It was out. Ninjaru got the nice, wonderful little boost. Replicant was already committed to that rush, and the explosion, unfortunately, was always going to catch him. Unfortunate from Rep, but it means that it will be Grimwood to take on Riffa in the grand finals. Okay, so how is this going to work, my friends? Well, how this is going to work is as simple as this. It's best of 5 time, as it has been for the past 2 matches. But here is the catch. Riffa, for the first time in quite some time, is starting this from the underground bracket. They've lost a set, Grimwood has not. So, for Grimwood to win this cup and stop the Riffa revolution in its tracks, he is going to need to just simply win this set. For Riffa, he's going to have to beat Grimwood not just in 1 set, but 2 sets. Mausoleum is going to be the call. Riffa on the left hand side of your screen, Grimwood on the right hand side of your screen. The grand final is underway. Dry Blast and Ice Dragon for Riffa. Grimwood coming in with that popper and chakram. We saw they use it to great effect in the previous set between them, and Riffa is determined to find a way through it this time round as the Ice Dragon begins to do its usual chainy goodness. Arm weak on the left hand side, but Grimwood gets knocked down, so it gives Riffa a chance to have that fade away and not give Grimwood any kind of purchase. He tries to go for the grab, but Grimwood knows better than that. Grimwood being one of those players who really does like those grabs themselves, so they know exactly when someone's going to come in with it. Tries to get a bait out from Riffa, slices up for 70, but unfortunately does not get any more than that. Riffa knows they've got a full-on chance to maybe get a bit of punish of their own. Grimwood just a little too close for their own liking. 405 chips Grimwood in to the perma buff state that we know Max Brass absolutely excels at. But having said that, they're only a couple pokes away from going down here, and they know that full well, so they're going to have to come in flying here. And Riffa knows that they cannot afford to get walled in by Brass, which is what they're doing over and over and over again. They're into critical already, and Grimwood knows just another couple punches will absolutely swing this into their rear, and it does. The rush just comes right back on it, and Max Brass really is the comeback king here. Every single time we see Grimwood go all the way into critical and Riffa has so much health, it immediately disappears thanks to Grimwood's consistent pressure from Max Brass. It's why it's so crucial for Riffa to try and get the KO before that can even activate. the only way they could do that is by utilizing the rush at the right time. Grimwood almost down to halfway already, realizing they could try and go in for more pressure, but again the rush is going to come out and send Grimwood into critical again. And with 70 seconds on the clock, you just know that Grimwood is just going to come in all guns blazing, and it's exactly what they're doing. Every time Grim goes down into critical, Riffa has no answer for this, and that is going to be another KO. Grimwood has found a way. Grimwood has found a way through Riffa, and it is with max brass. It's 1-0 in the grand final. What can Riffa do? What can Riffa do to switch up this strategy and find a way of taking brass out? The popper and the chakram is proven to be a combination that Riffa just cannot seem to beat. And this is how much Grimwood has been improving. They are going to be absolutely determined to find a way through, but again caught with another 1-2 chain. You never want to be slowed down and losing your abilities early on, but it almost seems like Grimwood doesn't mind. It doesn't mind at how much they get hit in the early goings. It's almost like they want to be in critical, and Riffa just can't get the KO in time to do anything else. 380, now they just need one poke. They're at a full bar of health, and Grimwood is not going to get any purchase. That is a perfect. And just like that, the momentum has slowed. Riffa with a perfect. In the grand final of all places, against somebody who has been dominating you throughout the past match there. And now Riffa is playing on a different level yet again. Finally gets caught out by the rush. 340 damage, almost takes them into the halfway mark. And again, Grimwood decides, you know what, I'm going to play the aggressive card now instead. Walling Riffa down, taking them onto the cusp of critical. And again, Riffa seems to not have an answer for this. Another big grab, and Grimwood takes the point straight back away. Which way is this going to go now as both participants bounce straight back on into the action? Nobody really changing anything. And again, another popper hit is just going to send Riffa flying. And I love the fact that Grimwood is just not afraid to just jump around with the brass. Just does not stay grounded for too long. Goes for the rush, but nothing going to happen this time. It does manage to catch Riffa at the tail end of it. 100 damage and a wake-up grab. Certainly makes up for the damage that they didn't cause overall with that flurry. Again, another catch with the popper. 120 sends Riffa up in the air. Now it's Grimwood who stands on poise for a perfect of their own, but it's going to immediately get flung away. They do get caught by the Tri-Blast, but again, they've got their health lead here, and slowly but surely, they have a way through. Riffa could be seeing his reign finally start to fade, but with 43 seconds to go, anything can still happen. Grimwood with the rush, they're going to come right on into it, catches Riffa at the tail end of the teleport, 235 damage. They know a grab at this point will be enough to take Riffa down and make it a 2-0 lead. And Riffa knows this better than anyone. They've got to do everything in their power to stop Brass from reigning supreme here. Manages to get the chip down. They are not too far away for a rush of their own, but they're not going to get the chance to use it. Grimwood is 2-0 up in grand final. History, my friends, is on the verge. Riffa versus Grimwood. Ninjara versus Brass. 2-0 up for Grimwood. Riffa has it all to do. Tri-Blast and Ice Dragon. Chakram versus Popper. We're staying on Mausoleum for the third successive match in a row in this final, and it's Brass who starts the slower of the two, and Riffa knows full well they have to switch up their playstyle here because Brass is just performing on a different level here. Arm weak on the left hand side, but Riffa doesn't get a chance to properly punish it because Grimwood got not one but two pokes in that just robs that momentum away from them. And as they try to square up and exchange blows, it's Riffa who has the chance to potentially get this as a KO, although Grimwood is already into that critical buff. They haven't got their rush yet. Riffa does, but they're able to fling out the dragon from such range that they just don't allow Brass to get in close. And unlike how the other previous matches have gone, where Grimwood has just immediately zoned in and gone for the aggressive play, Riffa kept them at a distance, didn't allow them to come through at all, and also gets the stop as well. That must have been the Tri-Blast that caught them by surprise. Grimwood does not get the utility of the rush either, and Riffa suddenly is in the driver's seat in this point. Arm weak on the left hand side, make that broken, and 3 damage for Grimwood as a result. And Riffa trying to get into a spot where they can utilize their rush, or at least get a little bit more purchase, but Grimwood is now shutting them down at every possible opportunity. They are walling Ninjara in and not allowing them the chance to get those teleportations up. Finally gets with the Shakram as well and the Popper. They're looking for a grab or anything will do, and Grimwood's on championship point. Championship point for Grimwood. Can he do it? Can he bring the Riffa Revolution to an end, albeit a temporary one at that? But can it happen? Grimwood again starting the slower of the two, not really going in for the aggressive plays early on, maybe thinking that Riffa might have an idea that is what he's going to start flinging on into. And Riffa just slowly chipping away at Brass. Here comes the rush now, but again, it's not going to be too much of a fail. They do still get 250, which is definitely nothing to sneeze at. That's still a decent amount of damage and pops Riffa down by 25%. But it's Grimwood who's taking more of the battering here so far, down into half health. Riffa does have the advantage of that rush. If they can pick up a couple more chains, they may try and go for that KO rush if they can, and maybe stop Grimwood from activating Perma at all, but it is going to be there now. And now it's just going to be the case of, can Grimwood get into place to use this? Not quite! They actually managed to get away with that. The rush just couldn't get to them in time, and this could cost Riffa dearly, and the rush is up for Grimwood as well. They got 2 hits in, but this is KO! This is going to be KO! No, it's not going to be a KO! One more hit is all Grimwood needs to win this championship and take it from Riffa. Neither of them are going to get it, but it's the Tri-Blast! The Tri-Blast got it, and that's a communication. Oh my goodness me! Oh my goodness me! That is 2-1 to Riffa. That is 2-1 to Riffa. There was a communication error in that. Oh my goodness me. That was unbelievable. We got kicked from that somehow. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but we're quickly going to retrade in that. That was unbelievable. Oh my goodness me. That was unbelievable. Grimwood, I think, must have had that KO done and dusted. And Riffa not only survives, but gets the bolt in at the last second. And goodness gracious me. Oh, wow. Okay, I believe the password is that. Oh, my word. Oh, wow. I cannot join, apparently. I wonder if they reset it. Oh, yep, they reset it. Yeah, Ethernet's still... Yeah, the Ethernet cable is still working, so... but yeah, Okay, password is coming back up, so yeah, it's a full-on lobby reset. Oh my gosh, we all get to take a slight breather there. We thought Grimwood was going to do a clean 3-0 against Riffer, but it's not going to happen. It is going to be going on just that little bit longer. Riffer survives. It's 2 points to 1. And once again, we're at the stage where Riffer is thinking about a reverse sweep. It wouldn't be the first time, and it certainly won't be the last. We're going back in to this grand final set. It is 2 points to 1 between these two. Grimwood coming in with Cobra, that popper, and the clampback combination. If you remember the last time we came here, Riffer had no answer for this. And already Grimwood putting themselves into a very ideal position. Just slip sliding away, not wanting to give any kind of purchase to Riffer in the slightest. And as they get another nice little knockback there, they are determined to find their way through and wall Riffer out, keep them down into towards that hot pocket. Although Riffer finally does come out, and the slam is going to curve right around that shield and just take Grimwood right off his feet. Both staying at somewhat level health here, but crucially it is Riffer who is on the back foot here, trying to get back into the center stage, teleporting through the shield but could not take advantage of it. Grimwood was already waiting with that popper in hand, and Riffer pretty much in KO range if Grimwood can find a way through on this purchase. Clapback not going to make a dent on this one, and Riffer going to brave it all and go for the early rush. It puts Grimwood on the cusp of critical now, and the bolt has to be repelled, and Riffer knows full well they can't afford to take too much damage from this. 215. It means Grimwood is only looking for one more hit. Although having said that, Riffer just needs, well, they went for that grab, but they couldn't quite find it. They had to really wait for that clapback. I think they knew full well that that was absolutely going to catch them otherwise. Bolt coming back their way. They're running out of time, and time is on Grimwood's side. And once again, Grimwood finds himself on championship point. Tries to go for the early grab, but not going to get it on this occasion. Riffer coming in, sticking on that central platform, but again gets caught up by their own arm. The clapback sends the slam right back into his face and takes Riffer off his feet. Make that a windy hit from the popper as well. And so far, Grimwood has complete control past the halfway mark, gets another successful trade, and Riffer is slowly but surely coming out of this one. Manages to teleport through with the clapback yet again, but they're in critical, and Grimwood knows full well that just a couple more hits will do it. Just anything will do it at this point. The grab will KO! The grab will KO! And Grimwood will do it! The streak is over! The streak is over! Grimwood wins the 61st EU Arms Challenge Cup. Riffer will not stand on his own with that record. It won't. The 4-cup winning streak is over. He does not win 5 in a row. It will go to Grimwood, who takes this victory and adds the 7th cup to his tally. An amazing record of his own standings. It's amazing to see. What a contest. It went to the wire in winner's final, and it could have potentially done so here, but Kid Cobra on Buster Beach with the clapback, the MVP in both of those sets, finishing up with that final point in winner's final, and then finishing it up for the championship point here as well. It has been an amazing showing from everyone involved, but it will be Grimwood who finally turns the book on its head and does it with max brass. You love to see it happen. Grimwood wins the 61st Cup. Riffer takes 2nd place. And Replicant takes 3rd. All 3 of the former winners making the top 3. Aloria just missing out on that top 3 appearance. But we know it will not be the last time we see them either. Thank you all so much for coming on by. Hopefully you've had fun. The @tag for myself is a little bit different now because there's been a massive rebranding going on. It's at @TK_Layla now. So hopefully that'll be fixed for the upcoming streams as well. But I have still been your girl Layla. It's been great to host this and commentate this from start to finish. Hopefully you've all had fun because I certainly have. And we will be back in 2 weeks' time for the 62nd installment of this cup, where we will see if Grimwood will be able to defend it, or if we are going to see Riffer come back and just take the cup again because it's Riffer. Or will anybody else come in with a surprise appearance? Remember, it's always great to see more people joining in, whether you have been a pre-existing competitor or coming in for the first time. We would gladly like to have you on here, and obviously this all builds up to the PR Invitational, where you can fight for bragging rights at the end of the season. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep your eyes open at European_arms on Twitter for additional details for upcoming events. We've got clips being posted up onto our YouTube channel, EU Arms Competitive, and obviously you can see all of the action live happening here at EU_arms. Take good care of yourselves, my friends, and let's do everything that we can to keep this community fighting fit and fighting fresh. Bye!